Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for Syscon TV. We're here at 9th, Cloud Expo, Silicon Valley. Andrew Hillier is up with me next, CTO of CiRBA. Welcome back, I must say, Andrew. We're following you from Cloud Expo to Cloud Expo.
Yeah, I'm doing the same tour you are.
But it does allow me to ask you, my friend, what's changed since last time? It seems to be a very different kind of show.
Well, I think it's constantly evolving, as we can see. New York was a great show. And I think there's even more people here from what I can see. Lots of good discussions. Different coasts, slightly different angle on things. More tech companies around here. Yeah. More banks on the East Coast. But yeah, it's a great show. We're having a lot of good.
Does that affect you? Are you finding sort of slightly the wrong customers? Are you yearning to be back in New York in June?
Well, I wouldn't say it's the wrong customers. They're just different customers. Yeah. So we have customers across all verticals. So I mean, pretty much everybody's interested. So we've had discussions with, again, more tech companies out here we've seen, but they still have a requirement for the same types of analytics that we provide.
Now let's stop up. I suppose we shouldn't assume that everybody knows the value that CiRBA brings to the planet Earth, so let's quickly inform them of that, remind them.
So CiRBA is a software company. We provide analytics software that allows you to plan and manage virtual and cloud environments. And it's actually a very detailed analysis. It's almost like business intelligence for your data center. It looks at all the operational patterns, all the business constraints, all the technical rules, and it looks at them based on policies to say, where do we put stuff and how big do we make it? So if you're planning a new environment, it's essential for doing proper planning, and if you're running a cloud, it's the thing you point at the cloud. It's like the brain of the cloud. It lets you figure out where stuff should go and how big it should be and what's coming down the pipe and how do I deal with it.
Now I'm thinking the problem set of this is it's that old thing. Of course you should do it that way, but most people probably don't. They bumble in. So do you still have to evangelize around that?
Well, certainly I think we're part of we're a fairly unique software, so we have to tell people we exist. People don't know this exists. Now we do absolutely see people that have done this or are managing environments without this kind of intelligence, as we put it, as far as the data center intelligence that we provide. And you do see some interesting patterns. So we see environments that are heavily over-provisioned, but still running at a high risk. So they're inefficient and risky at the same time. It's kind of exactly where you don't want to be. You want to be the opposite. You want to be running at a low risk, high efficiency mode, but if you're just doing it using very rudimentary means, you can't get there.
And can you kind of retrofit it? Can we come to CiRBA and then make all that good again?
Absolutely. I mean, if you use us to plan the environments, they should be set up properly to begin with. If you don't, which of course a lot of people don't because they don't even know we exist, they go ahead and do it through other means. We can come in and point at a running environment and say, okay, well here's what you do. You make these bigger, make those smaller, move those around, and then keep running this, and you'll have a healthy, happy data center from now on.
Now, that's going to have piqued people's interest, because I think they like that, and you have a great way of explaining it. So who might I typically be? I mean, again, what if I don't know that I'm in such a mess?
Well, I think anybody running the infrastructure is our primary target for this. So infrastructure groups or even operational groups that are managing the infrastructure. And I think the key is that a lot of people know they're not running as efficiently as they could.
Right.
But
know they can find out about it.
Exactly, don't know how to do it. Or we also see an interesting effect that if you only have 10 servers and we say, you could fit that on 7, that's interesting to you, but that may not be your highest priority. But if you have 10 data centers and we say, you can fit that on 7, then it gets interesting. So the higher you go up the tree, the more interesting that efficiency becomes.
Right.
It's a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, that is an interesting dynamic. So look, here we are. I mean, you're following us from show to show. That means it's going well for CiRBA, but that means I can also ask you, project forward into 2012. How big could this get for you guys, let alone the rest of us?
Well, I mean, I think, and it's interesting on the closing panel at the last show, there was some interesting questions around when does this just become computing? When does this become the norm? So now I think we still see a lot of people feeling it out. There's still some people that think it might be hype and what's real and what's not and that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people we see, a lot of our bigger customers are getting the benefit. They're building internal clouds. They want to go to external or hybrid models, but they need to take the steps to get there. And we just see them constantly marching forward. So as they get through the steps of getting their users comfortable with cloud, internal cloud capacity, then they're ready to start exposing them to some external hosting requirements. So it just needs to go through a maturation cycle, but we see it happening. Every show, people are further along in that thinking.
Sure. Let's imagine that this is resonating widely with gazillions of people out there and they want to connect with CiRBA and they're thinking, but I'm not in Santa Clara, California, darn it, and I might not even be in New York. How can they connect with you remotely? What's the best way?
Well, I mean, we do a number of webcasts all the time. We have some online demos of our latest release. One of the things we're showing here is version 7 of our software. Which ships next month, and it's really like the brain of the cloud. We like to consider it as a good analogy for it being the brain. It pulls from the eyes and ears, and it tells the arms and legs what to do, effectively, and that's what we're showing here. And we're getting a lot of excitement here, but we also have online demos coming up I don't know the dates off the top of my head, but on our website you can see, you can go register for an hour-long demo and see what we're showing here on the internet. So of course our website is a great resource for white papers, recorded webcasts from the past, and these new live demos of our latest release.
All right, so if you're not here in Silicon Valley, make sure you go and do that. You've been invited, after all, by the CTO himself, Andrew Hillier. Thanks so much from CiRBA for joining us here in Santa Clara, California, and thank you for watching this out there on the World Wide Web.
Thank you, Jen.